In this video, we're going to take a look at extrusions in geometry mode. Let's begin by stepping outside of our room. Let's expand brush wireframe mode. I'll select our brush and go into geometry mode. Let's also toggle on our modifier window. Now take a look at this. I can jump over to extrude modifiers only because I am in poly selection mode. If I jump over to edges, you'll notice it's grayed out. If we take a look at vertices, also grayed out, and an object, of course, it's grayed out. So we can only do this while we are in polygon mode, because that's all we can really extrude here, are polygons. Now if I jump into this mode, you'll notice that we get a new settings window, and that is because there are two ways to handle extrusions inside of geometry mode. We can do them intuitively, or we can do them by numbers that we actually set. So let's start off by just selecting a polygon here on top of the surface, and with my move widget, or my translate widget, I'm just going to pull this face up into the air, and notice that what I get is an extrusion. We still keep our original edge, and I've pulled out new geometry that is attached to the original location. Excuse me. Alright, so from here, let's take a look at extruding by the numbers, if you will. So what I'll do is I'll select a face here on this side, and maybe a face here on this side as well by holding Control and clicking on this face. And now we can set our overall length and the number of segments we want. I'm going to leave our segments set down to 1 for now. So segments set to 1, press Enter. And let's take our length and push it way up, maybe something like 512, and click Apply. So as soon as I click Apply, we get an extrusion. Now that's pretty cool, but let's take a look at how segments work. We can select these two pieces up here, and I'm just selecting 2 because it's fun. And we'll leave this set to 512, but what I'm going to do is say maybe add 3 segments. And as soon as I click Apply, we get 3 512 segments added. So each time it runs a segment, we get another length applied. So it's kind of like doing 3 extrusions in a row. Just in case you're wondering, like maybe you're coming into this with a little bit of modeling experience from maybe Maya or 3ds Max, these segments don't mean anything if you're planning on extruding intuitively by using the Translate widget. So if I was to pull along an X, I am pulling out more geometry, as you can see, but those segments are irrelevant. So just keep that in mind. And we can sit here and just keep grabbing polygons and keep adding more and more geometry to this. But I think in general this drives the point home. Extrusions are a very powerful way to go about adding geometry. Now I'm going to do something real quick that's a little more practical instead of just creating this really crazy shape. Let me reload my map, and we won't save any changes. So let's pull back outside once again. I'll open up geometry mode, and my modifier window does come along because I hadn't closed it last time. Let's select the topmost face, and what I'm going to do while I'm in extrude mode is just pull this up. Now in this particular case, I'm having to drag downwards. That's something you're going to notice when you play with geometry mode a couple of times. Sometimes controls kind of flip around, but don't worry about it too much. So I'm going to pull out 180 units. I'm going to go into edit mode, and then we'll select this polygon on top, and I'll grab the scale widget, and we can scale this down, and we can give our room sort of a bevel on top. Now with that done, let's toggle out of geometry mode. Let's just turn the whole thing off. We'll switch back over to lit mode, and you'll notice that of course we need to update our world geometry, so we'll do that. We'll go ahead and rebuild, and we'll close, and now I have a much more interesting ceiling in my room. So just wanted to show you can do practical things aside from just really taking and making crazy shapes out of your brushes. And that is going to wrap up this discussion over extrusions in geometry mode.